Recap: Alchemy Emperor of the Divine Dao, Chapter 1167, Chapter Measure. The young man laughed lightly, the sound clear and unrestrained, yet when he spoke again, his tone carried a weight that made even the air seem to settle. "Shopkeeper Han," Ling Han said, his gaze steady and serious, "there is something I require your help with. I need you to gather as much level 3 godly metal as you possibly can. Use every bit of profit that belongs to me for this purpose." Han Huo did not hesitate for even a breath. "No problem," he replied immediately, his voice firm, his expression respectful. He did not pry, did not question the reason behind such a request. As a seasoned businessman, he understood well when curiosity was a liability. Ling Han inclined his head slightly. "Then I shall trouble you." "To be able to serve you, young Master Han, is my honor," Han Huo responded with a respectful bow. Afterward, Ling Han selected several additional materials. The 7 ultimate flying flame pills still needed refinement. It was the very lifeline of his current income, the pillar that supported all his plans. Beside him, Han Huo wiped the sweat from his brow as he assisted in gathering the requested items. His hands moved, but his thoughts remained trapped in the shock from earlier. The scene of Ling Han's alchemical prowess still lingered in his mind, refusing to fade. Seeing this, Ling Han smiled faintly. "Shopkeeper Han," he said with a teasing glint in his eyes, "are you regretting the agreement we made earlier? You take 10%, I take 90%. Do you feel it is too great a loss?" Han Huo hurriedly shook his head, almost flustered. How could that be? Though his heart ached at the thought of the profits slipping away, he was no fool. He knew clearly that Ling Han did not need the Mo clan to sell those pills. With a single word, the 7 ultimate flying flame pill could flood the market. Every single one would be snatched up in an instant. There was no shortage of buyers. More importantly, Ling Han could have claimed all the profit himself. Yet he had willingly left 10% to the Mo clan. That was not business. That was favor. Han Huo's expression turned solemn, his hands clasping together as he bowed deeply. "I am endlessly grateful for young Master Han's generosity." Still, a question lingered in his heart. Why would Ling Han treat the Mo clan with such regard? Ling Han seemed to sense his thoughts. His voice softened slightly as he spoke. "On my journey to the majestic heaven sect, I was ambushed. I lost my way amidst the stars. By chance, I encountered a trading vessel of the Mo clan, and they did not abandon me. Instead, they gave me passage." Only then did realization dawn upon Han Huo. He straightened abruptly, clasping his hands once more in sincere respect. Young Master Han, truly a man of honor. To the Mo clan, that act had been nothing more than a casual kindness, a passing gesture. Yet in return, they had gained the goodwill of a young king-tier genius. Such a trade was beyond profitable. And yet, Han Huo understood something even deeper. If Ling Han had been a man without gratitude, that same act could have led to nothing. Worse, if they had somehow offended him, they might have gained an enemy instead. But Ling Han remembered. Ling Han nodded calmly. "Shopkeeper Han, I will leave the matter to you. Gather as much level 3 godly metal as possible. It does not matter if it is worn, impure, or aged. As long as it reaches level 3 in quality, it is acceptable." "I understand," Han Huo responded confidently. "Please return in 1 month, young Master Han. I will certainly prepare a pleasant surprise for you." Yet in his heart, he had already made a decision. He would report this matter to the higher ranks of the Mo clan. A young king-tier genius was already worth courting. But Ling Han was more than that. He was a man of loyalty and righteousness. Such a person must be tied down at all costs. What was mere level 3 godly metal compared to that? Nothing. Furthermore, Han Huo's thoughts trembled. Ling Han's alchemical ability was terrifying. Level 5 divine pills refined within a single month. Not just one furnace, but multiple batches. And yet, a chill ran down his spine. Wait, young Master Han is still only in the Mountain River tier. How could he possibly refine level 5 divine pills? Does forming the 5th Mountain River equate to the Sun Moon tier? His breath grew heavy. To cultivate both martial arts and alchemy, and excel in both. Our Mo clan absolutely cannot let such a genius slip away. His eyes burned with determination. Perhaps this young man may one day stand above the world itself. We must spare no cost to bind ourselves to him. Though his surname was not Mo, he had married into the clan. His children, his descendants, they all carried the Mo name. The rise of the Mo clan was his rise as well. Ling Han walked along the path, his steps light, his mood lifted. With a stable source of godly metal secured, a great weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Now, his thoughts turned elsewhere, the Yellow Spring mystery realm. He needed to prepare, and once that journey concluded, it would be time. Time to break through, to step into the Sun-Moon tier. After that, his gaze sharpened slightly. He would seek out the 5 sects and the Rock Palace. These matters had been delayed long enough. His thoughts drifted further, crossing the vast river of time. Heavenly Phoenix Divine Maiden. A faint smile touched his lips. It has been centuries since we last met. What had she become now? When she saw him again, would she not be astonished? A man once thought dead, returned. A cultivator who had advanced at an impossible speed. In merely 1,000 years, he would stand in the Sun-Moon tier. That pace, even the Heavenly Phoenix Divine Maiden, even the Sword Emperor, would be surpassed. A flicker of mischief danced in his eyes. He recalled those years, those decades of being suppressed by that domineering woman. It's about time. A grin spread across his face. My turn to retaliate. How could I let her go without giving her a proper spanking? His thoughts softened. His son must have grown by now. His parents, who knew, that mischievous girl, she must have blossomed further. And the others, Helianchen Xuan-er, Lu Yutong, Li Si-chan, a sigh escaped him. In this life, though only a short span had passed, the emotional debts he carried had already surpassed those from the 2 centuries of his previous life. Slowly, deliberately, he pressed those thoughts deep into his heart. Power. Only power mattered. Without strength, even breathing freely was a luxury. Everything else could wait. Han Lin! A sharp, furious shout shattered the silence. Ling Han turned his head. At the entrance of his residence stood 4 figures. Their expressions were dark, their eyes filled with hostility. Among them, he recognized 2 faces, Fu Liangye, Gai Yongxi. Again, his gaze turned indifferent. Gai Yongxi stepped forward, his chin raised arrogantly. Han Lin, this is your final chance. Young Master Gao has decreed, if you crawl on your knees to Thousand Birds Peak today, he may forgive your previous disrespect. Ling Han stared at him for a moment, as if looking at a fool. Are you suffering from memory loss? He asked calmly. Do you want another beating? Han Lin! A deep voice thundered. A middle-aged man stepped forward. The moment he spoke, an overwhelming aura surged outward, pressing down like a collapsing sky. This was no natural presence. This was suppression, a force born of superior cultivation. Sun-Moon tier. Understanding dawned in Ling Han's eyes. So that was why Gai Yongxi had found his courage today. He had brought a backer. Beside them, Fu Liangye sneered coldly. He had already joined the Gao faction. The moment he learned they would deal with Ling Han, he volunteered to come. He wanted to see how Ling Han would kneel under overwhelming power, and if he refused, then even better, humiliation would follow. After all, though Sun-Moon tier experts were restricted from openly attacking Mountain River tier cultivators, there were ways. Subtle suppression, crippling pressure. Once Ling Han's strength was sealed, other Mountain River tier cultivators could step in. Who would dare speak against it? Without another word, Ling Han walked forward. He opened the door, stepped inside, then calmly reached back to close it. Pu Gai Yongxi and the others nearly exploded with rage. What did this mean? Were they nothing more than air? Han Lin! Gai Yongxi slammed his hands against the door, stopping it from closing. Within the majestic Heaven sect, there was one absolute rule. Without permission, no one could enter another's residence. Fighting? Allowed. Encouraged. Even cultivators grew through battle, but disturbing someone's seclusion? That was unforgivable. It could cripple a cultivator, destroy their path. Thus, the sect enforced this rule with iron will. Outside, fight as much as you want. Inside, absolute sanctuary. Even someone like Yang Hao would not dare violate this boundary. It was the bottom line. Thus, when Ling Han stepped inside, Gai Yongxi grew anxious. But in that very instant, Ling Han smiled, his hand shot out like lightning, grabbing, suppressing. Before Gai Yongxi could react, he was already seized, completely restrained. Ling Han's voice was calm, yet carried a chilling weight. It seems you've forgotten my warning from last time. And yet, you came again. The moment the words left Guy Yongxi's mind, a deep sense of grievance surged within his chest, like a tide that could not be contained. What injustice was this? It was not he who had chosen to step into this place. It was Ling Han, this devil in human skin, who had dragged him across that threshold without so much as a shred of mercy. Yet now, he was the one being blamed. Before that thought could even fully settle, pa! A sharp, resounding slap cracked through the air like thunder striking dry wood. Ling Han's palm descended without hesitation, heavy with force, sending Guy Yongxi staggering as blood surged up his throat. With such a rotten memory, Ling Han said coldly, his voice calm yet carrying a chilling edge, it seems another beating is necessary to help you remember. Guy Yongxi's face twisted in pain and disbelief. Panic flooded his heart, and he turned desperately toward his only lifeline. Lord Zhu, save me! His cry tore through the air, trembling with fear. Standing nearby was the Sun Moon tier expert, Zhu Tianqiu. This man was no ordinary cultivator. Though he was only at the middle stage of the low extreme, the gap between him and Ling Han was an entire major tier. Even if Ling Han had perfected the 5th level of the Mountain River tier, he would still be utterly suppressed. That was the natural law of cultivation. And yet, before Zhu Tianqiu's very eyes, Ling Han dared to seize a hostage. The humiliation burned like fire. Zhu Tianqiu's expression darkened, his nose nearly crooked from rage. First, Ling Han had shut the doors in their faces, and now he openly beat a subordinate under his watch. This was not merely arrogance. This was outright contempt. Release him, Zhu Tianqiu commanded, his voice low and heavy, like the rumble before a storm. Frost began to coil around his body, strands of icy energy twisting like serpents. The origin power within him surged uncontrollably, a sign that his fury had reached its peak. Ling Han only laughed. And if I refuse? The words were light, almost casual, but they struck like a blade. In front of me, Zhu Tianqiu stepped forward, his aura erupting like a vast ocean crashing against cliffs. You do not have the right to refuse. The pressure of the Sun Moon tier spread outward, suffocating everything in its path. Yet Ling Han merely tilted his head slightly, a faint smile curling at his lips. Heh, why don't you look beneath your feet? He pointed lazily at the doorstep. This place is mine. His voice softened, but the meaning was sharp. Without my permission, you nearly crossed that threshold. Do you even understand the punishment that awaits for such a transgression? Zhu Tianqiu froze, his foot halted mid-step. Even in his rage, he could not ignore this. This threshold, this boundary, was a taboo within the sect, a rule that even the personal disciples of Venerable Trinity would not dare violate lightly. And in that instant of hesitation, pa! Another slap rang out. Guy Yongxi's body jerked violently as blood sprayed from his mouth, along with a broken tooth that clattered onto the ground. Zhu Tianqiu nearly leapt forward. Was this brat provoking him deliberately? Had he lost his mind? There was a saying, when beating a dog, one must consider its master. Yet here Ling Han stood, just 3 meters away, striking his subordinate again and again. Was this not the same as slapping Zhu Tianqiu himself? At the side, Fu Liangye felt a chill creep down his spine. Could it be? This man was a lunatic? Ling Han had already offended Yang Hao. Now he had completely provoked the Gao faction as well. Did he truly wish to die? But what frightened Fu Liangye more was this. To stand against such a madman. What kind of danger was that? Regret gnawed at his heart. Why had he been so eager to act as the vanguard? Even if he wanted to watch the spectacle, he could have remained at a distance, seated comfortably. Instead, he had stepped into the storm. Another slap. Another tooth shattered. Ling Han's strength was terrifying. With a single strike, he could have destroyed all of Guy Yongxi's teeth. But he did not. He broke them, one by one, deliberately, slowly, cruelly. Zhu Tianqiu's body trembled, his fury reaching a boiling point. Release him, he said through gritted teeth, his voice dripping with menace, and I will spare your life today. Ha ha! Ling Han burst into laughter, his voice echoing through the space like mockery itself. He pointed at Zhu Tianqiu. People like you truly have something wrong in your heads. You come to my territory, strutting about like peacocks, and now you speak of sparing me? Pa! Another slap. Another tooth flew. Guy Yongxi's world spun. Blood filled his mouth as despair consumed him. It was Zhu Tianqiu who was speaking. It was Zhu Tianqiu who was threatening. So why Why was he the one being beaten? But reason had no place here. Ling Han was not a man one could reason with. He was a demon king. Han Lin, Zhu Tianqiu roared, nearly choking on his rage. Do you still wish to remain within this sect? Sigh. Ling Han shook his head as if disappointed. You're threatening me again. Pah! The fourth tooth shattered. Lord Zhu, please, stop talking. Gai Yongxi cried desperately. If you keep speaking, I'll be beaten to death. Zhu Tianqiu snorted. What a spineless coward. But then again, if he had backbone, would he have become Gao Huang's lackey? Every disciple here was a genius, filled with pride and ambition. Even those who joined the Gao faction did so to expand their connections, not to kneel in submission. Most had heavenly body tier backers behind them. None truly feared Gao Huang. The only difference was that Gao Huang's support came from within the sect itself, and he had access to even greater powers. Still, Gai Yongxi was a member of the Gao faction, and his humiliation was the humiliation of them all. Zhu Tianqiu moved. The regulations around him manifested as divine chains, shimmering with terrifying power. They shot forward like serpents, seeking to bind both Ling Han and Gai Yongxi. He would drag them both out. End this farce. Ling Han sneered. In a single motion, he pulled Gai Yongxi in front of him, using him as a shield. Gai Yongxi screamed as the divine chains pierced his body, over a dozen of them stabbing through flesh and bone. One even plunged into his rear, causing veins to bulge across his neck in agony. It was a torment beyond words. Come here. Zhu Tianqiu pulled back the chains, but Ling Han did not release his grip. He held tightly onto Gai Yongxi's arm. The forces collided. On one side, the overwhelming strength of a Sun-Moon tier expert. On the other, Ling Han's unyielding grip. Gai Yongxi's body became the battleground. Ah! His scream tore through the heavens. His body stretched, pulled from both ends as if about to be ripped apart alive. Zhu Tianqiu's eyes hardened. Immortal. Even if torn in half, he would not die. What mattered was reclaiming him. Otherwise, as long as he remained in Ling Han's hands, the Gao faction's face would be slapped again and again. Rip! Blood sprayed into the air. Ah! Gai Yongxi's body split apart. One half remained with Ling Han. The larger half was dragged back by Zhu Tianqiu. At last, he was free. Ah, sorry about that, Ling Han said, grinning casually. Sorry? Where was the sincerity? If Gai Yongxi had the strength, he would have strangled Ling Han on the spot. But he didn't, so he swallowed his hatred. Silently. He took out a pill with trembling hands and swallowed it, circulating his origin power to activate its effects. Zhu Tianqiu's gaze turned icy, filled with killing intent. Yet he did not move. This was Ling Han's residence. If even a single tile were damaged, the consequences would be severe. He inhaled deeply, suppressing the raging fire within his chest. Young Master has a message, he said coldly. If you wish to mend your relationship with the Gao faction, then when you enter the Yellow Spring Mystery Realm, you must bring back at least 3 drops of 1,000 source true fluid and present them to Young Master. His words fell like iron. Without another glance, he turned and left. Fu Liangye and the others hurried after him, not daring to linger. To stay would mean inviting disaster. Wait for me. Gai Yongxi scrambled up, abandoning any thought of healing. He dragged his battered body after them, desperate to escape further torment. Silence returned. Ling Han stood alone, his expression thoughtful. So, Gao Huang wanted to recruit me. Most likely, it was for the 1,000 source true fluid, he murmured to himself. A treasure that even the son of a heavenly body tier elite covets. What kind of existence is it? A faint smile appeared. I'll find out. He returned to his palace. He instructed Fan Ru to guard the entrance. No one was to disturb him. Then he stepped into the Black Tower and sought out the notionless saint.